SpaceX made a small profit in the first 3 months this year after making losses for 2 years in a row. It generated $55 million in profit on $1.5 billion in revenue in the first quarter of 2023. The company was valued at roughly $150 billion during a recent employee stock sale. It is privately owned and keeps most details about its finances under wraps. The iPhone 15 will have USB-C and faster charging speeds. The new models will be able to be recharged with up to 35W. They will be able to take full advantage of the 35W dual USB-C chargers Apple introduced last year. It is unclear whether 35W charging will be available for only the iPhone 15 Pro models or whether it will work for the entire lineup. Some reports say that the faster charging speed will only be supported on certified cables. The new iPhones may support Thunderbolt through the USB-C port. Aquatic is a company that aims to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere by sucking it out of the seas. The oceans absorb a quarter of global CO2 emissions. Removing the gas from the oceans would make room for them to soak up more. Aquatic aims to have a 10-ton per day CO2 removal unit running in Singapore by 2025 and remove millions of tons of CO2 annually by 2028. It says that it will cost around $100 per ton of carbon removed from the oceans. The name of the company targeted in this campaign was kept confidential. This is the first time that researchers have caught phishers using QR codes in an attack of this scale. Researchers have discovered that activating astrocyte cells in mice can cause them to stay awake for 6 hours longer than usual with no noticeable sleep debt. Astrocytes are star-shaped brain cells that were thought for many years to be little more than a kind of biological glue holding the brain together. The cells actually play a role in sleep, regulating the sense of time, mediating exercise's effects on the brain, and controlling inflammation in the brain. The new findings could lead to techniques for boosting the productivity, safety, and health of people who keep unusual hours. This article contains Vitalik Buterin's thoughts on X's Community Notes. Community Notes is a fact-checking tool that attaches context notes to tweets. These notes appear frequently on tweets that get a very large audience on X. Buterin sees them as informative and valuable. He says that the feature is surprisingly close to satisfying the ideal of credible neutrality, which means that it is possible to easily verify that it doesn't discriminate between people and treats people fairly. Turmoil is a testing framework for distributed systems. It can run multiple concurrent hosts within a single thread to provide deterministic execution. Turmoil introduces hardship into a system by changing a simulated network either through manual control or with a seeded ring. There has been no ramp-up in hiring in tech despite the surge of interest in AI. However, job cuts have appeared to slow down. There have been over 340,000 job cuts in the tech industry so far this year, well ahead of the around 240,000 for all of 2022. U.S. job openings fell in June to their lowest level since April 2021. Email development is often messy and tough to make sense of. This article explains why this is and gives some useful advice on how to make it easier. Emails are essentially just HTML documents, except they are visualized in an email client. While both browsers and email clients are capable of rendering, web standards for email clients are less developed. This means that some of the most terrible practices in web development are actually the best practices in email development. Tesla's rental program will begin its pilot at collision centers in Texas. NASA's budget for maintenance and construction is wholly underfunded and its infrastructure is in an increasing state of decline. Leon Jones, a co-author of Google's pivotal Transformers paper, has left Google to start Sakana AI, a generative AI research lab that will investigate nature-inspired methods of doing things. Chrome will soon automatically upgrade all HTTP navigations to HTTPS. It will fall back to HTTP if HTTPS isn't available. White Noise podcasts accounted for 3 million daily consumption hours on Spotify as of January 2023.